about communication. And this is really just kind of display that there's multiple ways that you can say what you have to say. There's no format, there's no guaranteed standard that this is the right or wrong way to say whatever you have to say. So it kind of jumps between a variety of styles and formatted verses and things just to kind of display that. About communication. I do a lot with my talent to use words. I vent, I complain, I share the reals and the absurds. You see, I write crazy mad, and I write overwhelmingly sad. I write through the experiences I've had. And sometimes it all rhymes, and sometimes it doesn't at all. But it is always about communication. The more I say, the more you might understand. Or the more I share, the more you may really comprehend. See, lack of communication can lead to a bitter end, so it's best for you to learn to talk, my friend. You know, you can do it with a variety of different style. Like sometimes I'm writing in an A-B format, making you wait for the rhyme to show up for a while, and sometimes a quintet of A's is where my mind is at. Because then I can just rock the rhyme repetitiously, locking in the depth metaphorically as I build up the tempo tempestuously while I'm constantly playing with letters that change the continuity over and over again with top shelf consistency. Just to switch it back, well, I talk a little about you and a whole lot about me personally. This illness and these things we go through and all the silent, invisible peculiarities that no one else can see. Yo, I'll write angrily about how I hate the world and everything in it. Or I'll stretch out a line at my discretions to write to you all about my blessings, like how I woke up today with a brand new chance to win it. I'll do it with proper grammar that will hit you in your head like it is a hammer. Or I'll just say whatever it is I'm gonna say, which way I want to say whatever it is that I want to say. Because like old Frankie said back in the day, I get up here and I do this my way. And when we near the end, I can slow it all back down again to remind you of the real message here, my friend. See, your words are the method to untying those moors that keep you anchored to those well-known shores. Whatever you choose to write will be a release, a pathway from that familiar beach. If you can't talk with someone, then write it out. Write to us about the things that your mouth won't spout. And you'll come someday to realize that writing helped you to clear your eyes, and the relief you come to find will help you bring about some peace of mind. See, no matter the style you choose to do it, the goal here is for you to get through it. So even if it is only to your paper and pen, I encourage you to talk, my friend. Thank you.
What's up, Hero Stock Nation?
So what do you think? Do we have a piece of literature you want to share with us from?
So you keep going back to the way the past was, and there's a lot of profanity in some of this old stuff, buddy. Are you ready for that?
Well, I think we got Tom in the background. He can clip it out.
Fair enough. All right, so now if he gets on and watches, I got a buddy of mine, Mr. Blank, really liked this poem when he first read it back in the day. I'm going to go ahead and read this to you, but
okay.
Be prepared.
Give us the title and maybe kind of speak on where you were when it was created.
All right. So in my head, I was really just screaming at everybody that kept telling me that they understood. You ever in when you're not doing so well, you ever have a civilian tell you that they get it? Hey man, I get it. I totally understand.
Mm-hmm.
You might understand PTSD, but you don't understand. You don't understand what I'm saying and what I'm trying to convey about what I've been through, right? And it made me angry, really angry, because like, what right do you have to try to compare yourself? That's how I felt. Compare yourself to me. I'm going through this and you're sitting over there, and are you serious? You know, that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this piece is called So You Think You Understand. So you say you understand, but I don't think you do. And I'll tell you something else, my friend, that makes me angry too. Maybe you can understand some of the things I say, but certainly you don't get everything that made me this way. Have you ever seen a child crying for the dead, and the child that he's crying for is missing half their head? Now, they'll say I went too far and said something that is wrong, but I get to watch it in my head my entire lifetime long. Those children are replaced by mine when I drift away for snores. I always watch them dying. Those Z's for me, they're chores. Have people ever shot at you, but not just with a toy? Then you go and turn around and the gunman's just a boy. I was almost blown up once, survived by a literal inch. If I'd stumbled my way around that night, I wouldn't have needed a pinch. See, I would have been dead, just pretending to be asleep. And some days I still long for that so my dark thoughts can't creep. Once I worked nearby a ward where they saved people like you, but there were dead bodies everywhere. Men, women, and children too. Then you get really angry because of all you've seen, and it eats into your soul for breakfast and lunch and dinner if it's keen. You isolate for safety for the people you're around, but then when they are needed, they're nowhere to be found. People saying they're family, great, because that's what I need. But in reality, they're looking for my misery so they can feed. Some that stay are tougher, seemingly built for anything, but once they see the horror, it's fear they always bring. They're scared that I might lose control or just start an argument, as if my anger differs from theirs and I'm just malcontent. What if this was all just an act, but now I can't get me back? I feel like an addict between a fix, always in pain, like I'm under attack. Oh, look, there he goes again. Hey, wait, I'm just a little upset. I did the only possible right thing, yet pointed at is all I get. I'm just a regular guy with feelings like all the rest. I'm just a bit more broken, but I still aim to be the best. It's all a game inside my head, one that I have to play for keeps. I just hold it all inside myself and I break while everybody sleeps. See, I can only give so much before I need one back. People seem to think it's me when it's them that truly lack. I give and ask only for love, but still the reality is such that my most challenging days have made me hate you so damn much. Every day I would ask them all, am I doing well? And they'd look at me and they'd smile at me, and lies were all they would tell. You said that you would help fight off all this hate, but in the end, you helped yourself and you just helped seal my fate. You said I could miss a beat, and now I'm standing here all alone, just wallowing in defeat. But wait, I remind myself, as I have done before, I knew deep down you didn't, and now I know it more. Let me buckle up my belt and tie these shoes real tight. Let me get out of my head and make this all right. Let me stand the back up and glance this off my chin. I got a lot of things to do, and I'll be damned if I won't win. Now, I do have my ups and downs, and sometimes I still sin, but I have got a lot of good to settle somebody in. If you listen, maybe you get it a little bit better than you did. But just remember this, my friend, we all keep some things hid. For the whole story is never discussed. No, far from it, in fact. And no warrior is ever at peace after we come back. Thanks.
Man. No, I mean, you just answered my next question, brother. I mean, I got to tell you, woo.
Yeah.
My next question was going to be, does any of your work ever take you back and have you experience those feelings? I could see it, brother. I appreciate you for sharing that. And I know it seems kind of cliche because I'm going to say it now. I do understand. Um,
I know, brother. I know.
I know we recently just kind of communicated about something that I thought I had written it down and I crumbled it up and I thought I had thrown it away, you know. And you
Right.
said, "Hey man, the universe acts kind of weird in that way, you know." And the whole time you're talking to me, it's almost like you're still in your poetry, right? And so I'm getting motivated and I'm thinking, "No, well maybe Tommy's right, maybe I should pick up a pen and paper tonight." And then I did, and it was so hard after writing it all down to say it out loud,
Yeah, man.
you know? And it's
Yo, because that's the look, and that's awesome that you said that. That's the power of what I'm trying to teach people.
yeah,
Because inside your head, it's a thought, and we can pretend it's not real until we can't. But on paper, it's tangible,
yep,
it's emotional. You read that back to yourself, and you have an emotional response, an emotional release. You connect,
yeah.
you let go, right? And over time, that process is how you find your wellness you've been seeking. You had a breakthrough that night too, right?
Yeah, that was a little crazy, man. You know, it, I mean, I'll share just a little bit. I know this is about you, but this is similar to what you were just talking about. Some of the things that you had experienced. I came back from Afghanistan after seeing two kids killed by an RPG,
Right,
and I mean, I distanced myself from my kids. I was having a hard time. Coming to conclusions like rational conclusions. Like, hey, I should talk to somebody, and I was right there in that spot, just in my head,
right,
listening to everything that I was saying about myself to myself. Um, but then I ask you, and you say, hey, just what I do, and I know that you're like, look, you love what I do, and I absolutely love what you do. You said just kind of like, just try it on, man, give it a shot,
yeah,
and it was rough. Um, but now I have a piece, that I've written for me,
right,
and that's how it starts. It starts for us as a part of our healing.
absolutely,
Um, but then when we see that it has an impact on other people, we go, purpose. I
absolutely.
can take all this pain and turn it into purpose.
Yo, because I'm telling you, out there amongst our community, there's somebody else that saw that in their way, that's waiting for that message that that's okay.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, like, you could clearly see the emotional response from me reading, but the difference being is I also can process through that now.
Yeah.
There was a time I could barely read that, let alone compose myself and have a conversation, right? So, you know, like I said, that's the process. You just keep reading, keep writing, keep reading, keep writing, keep reading. And eventually you can actually read that piece. It's like listening to a song that makes you cry.
Yeah.
And then after you hear it on the radio so many times, you're just kind of immune to it. You're not immune to it. You let that feeling out already. Now you're enjoying it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I've cried at my own stuff, like my own
Mm-hmm.
songs that I've written, and it's just me connecting with me again, you
Right.
know,
Yep.
because in doing this stuff, and it just as well as I do that as soon as we start to share these things with other people, I'm not going to say that it feels like an obligation, but that it becomes the purpose. And we're so focused on that purpose, like let me impact one. That's the
Yeah.
goal, just
Yep.
one.
Yep.
And then when we do, we're like, okay, now give me another one,
Right. Absolutely.
you
Line
know,
up. You know.
and and you keep looking forward like that, and you forget, hey, I still need to look back. I still need to look at me. Do like a do a check in, check in on
Well,
yourself.
the coolest thing about it is at a certain point, your writing becomes both. Your
Hmm.
writing also, it talks to you and it talks to them in the right way. Like that piece that I did, You Are the Mission, that I use in my group. It was originally to me. Focus on you, bro. Focus on doing what you need to do. Be who you're supposed to be. And, then it turns out that that's one of my veterans' favorite pieces, dude. They love that piece because, it says everything you need to know, right? You remember that person you were in the service who they said, go do it. And you said, yes, sir.
Yeah.
You didn't ask. You
Yeah.
didn't you didn't complain. Well, we complained, but you certainly didn't do it there, and you certainly didn't let the mission go undone, right?
Yeah.
But the point is you just did whatever you needed to do to get through what you were getting through. Why do we throw that away?
Yeah.
And so that piece, you are the mission, is all about that. Like, get it together and do what you did then, but put it on you.
Yeah.
Put that tenacity into finding you. And I'm saying after that, your wellness will follow.
Now, do you have that piece available?
I'm sorry, what? You are
The
the mission.
You Are the Mission, right? Because I would love if, because we've mentioned it, the You Are the Mission, and we've mentioned your group. Let's talk a little bit about how this concept, or how it came from a concept to a permanent biweekly thing with the VA. Kind of walk me through that. How did that start? And what happened, kind of immediately following, that initial idea.
So I had a brief interaction with one of the rec therapy facilitators at the Battle Creek VA during the public showing of the Veterans Creative Arts Festival show, the winners showing, or their gallery showing. Anyway,
Okay.
so everybody was there checking out the art submissions that we had put in and all that. I had a conversation about this with my friend Katie, who's been my co-host for almost a year, and is now stepping away to free up her nights a little more for the new addition to the household. She just had a little dude. Yeah, he's awesome. But anyway, through the chaotic that was coming out of my mouth at the time about how I was going to turn the world upside down with art that I had no real idea how.
Yeah.
There was just something in that conversation that Katie heard that put her little mind to work. And after a while, I honestly just kind of thought, in one ear, out the other, here we go again. And she hit me back and was like, were you serious? And do you really want to do this? And what were we talking about? Like, how would we do it? And so I put together a concept idea, and I said, well, how about we do these pieces? Because, this reason, this reason, and this reason, and this reason. And then, see what happens. So November 2024, she gave me my shot. And I actually work directly in inpatient mental health, right? So it's those folks that were really struggling, have now finally asked for help. They're not in a great place. And for me, I find that really fascinating because it's a perfect display of the reality of what I do. I walk in that room, and those veterans are kind of there simply just to not be wherever they just were. And
Yeah.
by the end of that group, they're writing, they're talking, they're sharing, they're smiling. I don't get everyone, but
Yeah.
the transition that happens between, it's awesome, man. And the group itself, it's just, I perform for them. I explain what I meant by that piece, talking to myself. What was my intention? What was I doing here? Because I want you to understand what the hell I'm saying. It's not
Yeah.
writing your feelings. That's broad.
Yeah.
So I perform, and then I engage them, kind of detail it. Then I give them a hands-on exercise to write their own personal creed. So basically, just lift yourself up. Tell me the great things about you. Tell me who you are, so that in the dark, you got your own light right in your hand, right?
Hmm.
Um, and that's pretty much the sum of the workshop. We just hang out, we talk, and I demonstrate what this really is, in hopes that they will take that and find a use for that for themselves.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yep.
So you are the mission. You mentioned you are the mission. Let's
Yep.
if you got it with you, let's share it with our listeners. Because I mean these things that you're talking about, these are not things that are just solely for veterans.
Well,
You know,
now, so you are the mission is a tough one for you right now because, I sent you a link. Do you have the link that I sent you?
mm,
I actually sent you a special version of You Are the Mission for your listeners. That
is
is,
right here.
do you got access to that SoundCloud link? Can you play that song from your end?
That I do not have. Do you have just the words?
I can make the words work, but I got to play with it because the song and the poem are not the same.
Okay.
Um,
Well, let's do
yeah,
this. Let's go ahead and capture the poem, and then we'll go to that link, right? Because this is pre-recorded, we can just snip that in and put that in this place.
I'm pretty sure I can edit this for you so that it's squared away. All right,
Okay,
ready?
hit it.
You are the mission. As soldiers, it was ingrained in us to always put the mission first and to never leave anyone behind. But I implore you to recognize our battlefield has been redefined. The rules are not the same anymore. As a veteran, the only thing that comes first is you. You must endure and learn from what you've been through. You must rise above to be that person you never believed that you could be, but were proven that you can. Look, you remember that version of you who never asked why because it was all a part of the mission? Well, acknowledge that version of you and stop asking why because now you are the mission. Some of you that are listening might not understand the message I bring, so let me make it simple. If you take the pain and hurt that you feel, pack it up carefully and deliver it real, you will affect many more lives and you'll come to find that this is what drives you to want to be here. See, you were shaped and molded for one thing, and although you've monstrously misdefined it, that one and only thing was helping when and where you were needed. Whatever you did to get to this moment, all that is required is for you to own it. Because every hurdle and pitfall along the way brought you to be right here today. So I ask you to trust and take my example and just give yourself and your community a sample of what it feels like for you to be a hero again by sharing the path that led you through what you see as your own sin. And like Jesus, who opened up humanity's eyes to see, you can be a savior to others like you and me. But you must stop condemning yourself like this is your end and be as strong as I know you can be, my friend. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Thank you. That's
Awesome,
it. It's
awesome.
edited different to make it long. Well, you do music. It's
Yeah,
edited different for filler, you know?
yeah.
Yep.
So we can, I mean, we can definitely like at the end of tonight's episode. Well, I'm gonna ask you, where to find your your material.
Heck
So
yeah,
we
bro.
can definitely, you know, ping that right there. Um, so you are the mission. You can see in this. I mean, I know before we jumped into the reading that this is something that doesn't just solely apply to veterans. This is something that it's for everybody.
Absolutely.
And while we talked with veterans and first responders, Gold Star family members, musicians in the community, nonprofit organizations, for-profit organizations, you know, these things that we're talking about are things that can be implemented into everyone's lives. This isn't
Absolutely.
just for the guy who deployed and came back and he was fine. You
Right.
know, this is for the mother who's having a hard time, balancing, motherly responsibilities, a marriage, a household, and a full-time job.
Right.
It applies to everyone. And I think that piece really kind of highlights that for other people.
Yeah, I love it because, there are times when we kind of get it more, right? Because clearly it was directed right at us.
Yeah.
Alternatively, though, if you just kind of put yourself in those shoes, fine. You never technically, quote unquote, had a mission, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You get it. And the reality is, if you put yourself first, I don't care who you are, you're going to see a benefit from that.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I think, that's what's awesome about we're kind of growing. I kind of have a little bit of a team now. My guys, Brad, Joe, Jonathan, and our new little homie, Meg. She's a musician. I think you really dig her.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of us are veterans, a couple of us are civilians, right? A couple of us are poets, a couple of us are painters. But the concept is, this is all partly peer support too. It works because I get it. You hear that I get it. That's why it works. It's not coming from somebody that you got a question. Does he get it? Does he
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah. Does he
I
understand?
kind of think he does. So, like on the civilian side, same thing, where you've got that dividing line for some people. Well, he's a veteran. It's not the same. Fine. I got a civilian right here. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's see what his opinion is, right?
Yeah.
Because the truth is, we do that. We divide up everything, right? What is my community? Is it veterans? Is it humans? I mean, depends, right?
It's a bit of everybody. Anybody who's got the heart and the compensity to create healing and opportunity for other people.
And see,
That's
but
who it
building
is. That's
a
who you
team
build your
like this,
team with.
right? And building a team like this is difficult though, because not everybody sees it that way.
Oh yeah.
Some veterans only want to hear a veteran. And that's just the way it is. I was that guy for a while,
Yeah.
So we're trying to make sure that we can, get into the gray areas. Like if you got a question, if this don't work for you, let's see what we can make work for you. Let's give it another shot, right? Let's not.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, did you ever think that your content, your poetry, your heart and your want to kind of champion people outside of like your normal circle, did you ever think that any of that was gonna get you a Telly Award or an an Emmy nomination?
No.
Yeah, like
Look, first of all, I barely even believed that they nominated me to go to Denver. I mean, like all the way up until I actually got on that flight, I was waiting for somebody to pop out and be like, "Psych, we
gotcha.
got you. You were on punked, bro."
Yeah, where's Ashton Kutcher, man?
I'm
Where's
just
that?
saying, dude. So like, no, man, no, hell no. I never ever imagined, and I right now couldn't imagine what comes next. I don't know.
So let's talk about that then. Uh, Kind of the feelings that were associated with it. Um, what inspired the possibility of that becoming something? Um, yeah, tell our listeners about being, or tell our listeners about getting that Telly Award and that Emmy nomination for you inspiring others.
Isn't that
Let's talk about it.
I do. I love that. So yeah, I did. I inspired an awesome guy named Romeo Lucchesi. I hope I said that right. I hope I didn't jack that.
You probably didn't. I remember him
Probably
from
did.
Denver.
I probably did. And he's gonna hate me for that. So look, anyways, I met that man on so right on my way into Denver. We had landed at the airport. We were waiting on transportation. We were the only two guys in that little like square like arrival space. They decked
Yeah.
out middle of the airport.
Yeah.
Made us all everybody looking at us.
You
So we,
remember they put us by the food court too, like
yeah. But you know me, man. Like when I'm just sitting there and I got nothing better to do, like I just start picking. I pick somebody and I start talking. That's what I do. I talk. So we got to talking. I told him about what I do, and I gave him obscure thoughts.
Okay.
I gave him this one. And there's a couple pieces in here that really stood out to him. A piece called Meant to Be. And what was the other one? Take This From Me. There was a couple of excerpts from both of those pieces that really just inspired him in his way. And he's a videographer. So he ran around the festival that week talking and shooting and put together his video. And in the end had me narrate and recite some of those pieces that he really liked. So you get to see me in the video. You get to hear my work. And I kind of open it and I close it. I open it up by like clicking on the bedside table light. And then we actually end the video with that light going back off, a click to black. And then it was really awesome because he threw right at the end to it closes inspired by the work of T.A. Walk. And dude, that was just monumental for me, man.
Oh
Um,
man.
Now I'll say, for as much as I rode those coattails, that foundation and that award was my man Romeo's. But yes, I was part of the whole process because he included me as a contributing artist for the inspiration, man. So that was really, really dope.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I remember you talking about that with me over the phone, and when you had mentioned, like, dude, an Emmy nomination, I was like, what?
Yeah,
No
I went
way.
to Emmys, bro. Like
Yeah,
I had to actually go to the store and buy a suit. I
yeah.
haven't done that in years, bro.
I remember seeing pictures of you and Romeo in your suits, man. You guys looked sharp too.
Dude, I'll tell you what, my wife was dressed to the nines, bro. She was banging that night. Did you see pictures of D? Wow, you should. And don't be looking at my wife too long though, because
What? What? Come on, man. Like, that's not even a thought.
yeah, but for
You
real, though,
crazy.
hot in that red dress she picked out. Oh my god, for real.
Okay, we'll cut that part out.
Yeah,
We'll leave
cut
that
all
for
that,
you and her.
cut all that out.
Yeah.
But
So,
you can see that picture on my website though.
oh yeah, man, you guys were dressed. You all looked sharp, man. And that's what kind of was like. When you told me, I was like, "There's no way. There's no. That's not possible. Like, how? How
Yes
does that
way.
happen?"
Hey, watch
And
this.
then I
Hey,
saw that
Frank,
picture, and I was like, "No way."
grab that picture off the nightstand. Yeah, here we'll go ahead and show you it since you want to
Yeah.
talk about it. I printed that one out for our art exhibit that we did in September.
Hmm.
That was actually in my little awards section of my exhibit to show that, you know, believe it or not, there can be good days ahead. Like all those things stand to remind me of those accomplishments. So my illness can't say, no, you didn't. Right? Like,
Yeah. Absolutely.
here, look.
Holy smokes,
Yeah, look at that red dress. Bad lighting. Man, she looked
you
amazing.
guys!
Horrible lighting. But anyway, look, I had
You
a
guys are awesome,
fedora.
man.
Man, that was a really amazing
That
night.
fedora, it fits your head so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about. Okay, we talked about the Telly Award and how, just the feeling that you had with it. Now let's talk about um, the September event that you put together. That was an exhibit that you had put together with several other artists,
Yep.
and that ran for, it was 3 weeks, like the
Yeah.
sixth of.
Yeah, it was about about 2 or 3 weeks we ran. Yep.
Okay, it was like what, the 6th to the 26th of
Yeah.
September, and it was out
6th
there.
to the 27th.
Okay, but right out there in Battle Creek,
Yep. At the
right?
Art Center of Battle Creek. Yep.
So let me ask you, talk about that a little bit, and then I'm going to ask you some more questions.
All right.
That idea, where'd that come from?
Just another. So again, I was struggling with how do I get my message out? Like I was performing my ass off everywhere, but I don't make no money. It's all just
Yeah,
a hobby, right? So it's like a wish and a hope that somebody sees you and an opportunity comes out of that. But I was really floundering and I wanted to do something, not just keep waiting. So again, from the the exhibit for the Veterans Art Festival was held at Art Center of Battle Creek. And honestly, man, around here, folks love my work so much. Like the curator at the art gallery spoke to me right from that point about putting something together and kept asking me what I would do. And I really kind of juggled with it for a long time. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. With a whole gallery, not only can I tell little bits and pieces, but I can use those little bits and pieces to paint a whole other picture.
yeah,
And not just a small one either. Like, I mean, start to finish, and the dirty and the pretty and the nasty stuff. We can make it music. We can make it painting. We'll do it all. And That's what we did. And then I said, I know I kind of get my hands in everything, but it just holds so much more weight when there are more of us, right? I mean, one dude protesting in the street is a guy having a tantrum. 1,000
Yeah.
people having a voice is a movement, right?
Yeah.
So I said, well, how do I do that? So I just put the word out through the people I knew. You supported me. We put your
Absolutely.
up. Um, I had a couple another poet that supported me. I had another veteran artist that did some amazing work. I had a young lady who paints, sculpts, does murals. Those stories got told, all through the simplicity of I had an opportunity and I shared. It didn't hurt me in any way. And I think sometimes that's what we forget. I didn't need the spotlight. I
Yeah.
was I was talking about what I was talking about. And by
Yeah.
sharing that, I feel like that mattered more because it wasn't a spotlight. It
Yeah.
was a showcase.
It's not about us. It's not about that, like, oh, look what I did. It's, hey, look at them.
Right.
Look what they're doing.
Yep.
There's more people out here in the community, not just me, and that takes me back to when we had our the open house for the arts here in Omaha. Man, there was a lot more people competing in the creative arts competition, and I just sat there. I was with my wife and I was listening to these other artists and these other musicians. There were people doing dance, and kind of
Right.
Broadway skits. And I was telling my wife, like, I hope they win. I
Yeah.
hope they win because, like, I wanted everything that I had experienced. And I know you say the same thing
Yep.
too. Everything that you experienced, Denver was kind of that like, dumping gasoline on the fire when we talk about
Absolutely.
change.
Yep.
So, but genuinely, like, I want to connect with people and I don't want them to look at me as like, like I'm out for myself because it's to me it's never about me,
Right.
you know. And I believe that, but we serve as, a potential catalyst to connect the community within or with more members of the community,
Absolutely.
you know.
Because by doing what we do the way we do it, if we inspire that next guy to pick up a pen and a pad or pick up a guitar and use that voice that they have, now again, we're reaching somebody new through somebody new, through somebody new, through
Yeah.
somebody new. You know, it doesn't just stop and end with us. That's the thing, too, right? You look at it good or bad, the things that happen to us, they don't just impact us. And for a while, when you're in crisis and survival mode, that's all you understand. It's happening to me. But the
Yeah.
thing is, it was also happening to everybody around. And the same thing is happening now with our methods of therapy. We're taking that and we're saying, look, man, this might not work for you, but I'd love for you to try it.
Yeah.
Because if it does, bro, I'm promising you, if it does and you use it, it'll work.
Yeah.
Now, if it's
Absolutely.
not for you, put it down and then pick something else up.
Yeah, we'll try something else.
Right? Just keep going because it doesn't matter whether there's words in it or not. You're saying something.
Absolutely. And I
Mhm.
think that I've kind of seen, where people have, I mean, I've heard in comments, I wrote a song and someone said it was something along the lines of, "Hey man, you missed your calling." And it's like, "No, no. I put it on the back burner for something bigger than myself."
Yeah.
You know? And joining the military for many people, it's not their first choice. They didn't join, for a sense of honor. They joined because they needed a job.
Right.
They needed to provide for a family, or they
They
needed a
needed.
way out of a toxic environment. They needed to change the atmosphere.
Yep.
And the honor and the pride and the loyalty and the respect that they now have towards those particular service and those branches is something that they inherited by
Yeah.
stepping into those positions. And so, I mean, yeah, for me, like, I just needed a job, man. I was a
Yeah.
nobody. I had a new family, And the honor and the loyalty and the respect and the just everything that I love about the military now, it didn't start that way. It
Right.
became that,
Yep.
you know. And so for anybody out there, I mean, I know we agree that, you have something to offer, you know. And I know, like, what did I say earlier when you were like, "Hey man, I'm nervous about tonight," and I said, maybe it's time to give those intrusive thoughts, give them an eviction notice,
You know,
you know.
and that's the thing, because like, and see, here we are back to this. It's okay for you to say that to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you better watch it because that
Yeah.
ain't in. No, but you're not wrong, man. Like, and see, that's the thing because I always like tell people, real talk, I'm needy. I need you to remind me because there's moments I don't remember. It's
Yeah.
moments I don't believe. And so in those moments when I am struggling, that voice of, it's like you didn't used to be able to run 2 miles when you started, but after somebody started screaming motivationally,
Yeah.
same thing when we lift each other up in private like that. Hey man, you got this. Keep going. Let go of that. That's kind of sometimes all you need. Because it's almost like, hey, I knew that. I was really just waiting on a second opinion
Yeah.
because I wasn't sure. So thanks.
I know. I mean, I want you to read your somewhat cocky piece, and I'm going to segue into that. I remember just coming from what you've just said. The someone screaming behind you. It came to a point where I got a little cocky. In the military. Doing out there doing brigade runs and whatnot. Out there calling cadence, and yeah, I got educated real quick by a sergeant major that certain cadence is not allowed. Don't challenge a sergeant major.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so, but yeah, there's a sense of that confidence that comes with like shaping yourself into something better.
Right.
Um,
I
and
mean,
so with that,
look,
yeah,
Eminem's first mixtape probably didn't like look at himself as, a rap god,
yeah,
right? And then look how he progressed in his career. We all as artists develop that sense of self. I think honestly, most artists seek that through their art. Like they're looking for that self, that sense of self, that definition, that confidence. They want to believe, you know, but it's a matter of finding it.
yeah.
You know, I'm
With
learning.
that, with that, I want you to read this cocky piece. It's probably one of my favorite pieces.
Wait a minute. Look, you know what, man? We are gonna have a conversation when this is over. Look, we had all this squared away. Look
I
at this.
know,
That
I
is not in my notes.
I
Was
know,
that one supposed to be here?
I don't know.
Why you keep
Uh,
throwing me curveballs, homeboy?
I'm the host, man.
Man, I don't have access to that piece currently.
Okay, maybe
You
we can
talking
clip it
about
from.
stupid poetry, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm talking
You
about
really
stupid
like
poetry.
that piece.
I do. I do.
I'll
I
tell you
really
what.
do, man.
Look, since I'm unprepared, what I will do is I will make that a voice, an audio recording, man, and I'll make sure that goes on SoundCloud. Since you love that piece so much,
I
I'll
do.
share that out there. How about
I
that?
do it. I do it.
I'll
Make it
get it,
happen, brother.
but I can't help you with that one right now.
What you can do is take a little video of yourself with that,
Bet.
right? Don't change shirts, right? We got to have it look authenticity, and authentic and whatnot.
Mm,
Um, but just read it into the camera, and then
bet.
we'll just
Because
plug
then
it
you
right
can
in.
clip it in, right?
Yep, yep. Tom's the technical guru in the background. He's taking notes.
Bet. Hey, beautiful.
There he is.
Scott, we can edit. Hey, mama, can you go see if you can look in my bottom drawer in the bedroom or that pile of stuff you have for your art exhibit that you're putting together and see if you see stupid poetry? Matt is really infatuated with that piece.
I am. I love it, man.
Yeah.
So while she's doing that, let's just go ahead and jump into another question. Okay.
Can do.
We we talked about, the ideas of expanding the current work that you're doing with and looking towards for profits and nonprofits. Can you kind of give us just maybe just a taste of the ideas that are behind that thought process right now?
So right now we're focusing on for profit first, because we need money, right? That's always the sucky part about trying to help people. It really actually takes money. So we're looking at focusing on on our for profit at the moment. So what we're going to be doing is trying to reach out to some medical facilities, mental health facilities, and some, local area therapist office and things like that, and kind of try to, I guess, like you get paid as a performer per hour to perform, right? As a musician,
Yeah.
kind of. So that's what we're looking at gearing the workshop. So like, I don't, off the top of my head, like $100 an hour for me. So if the workshop's an hour and a half, we'll make that arrangement with, say, the hospital uptown. Every time we do that workshop, that's the transaction. And
Okay.
or if there's some travel fees involved, right? Now we want to do that. We're actually going to launch that in January from the Art Center of Battle Creek to get us started. So it's not quite going to be mental health through art in the beginning, but it will give us an ability to do videography and photography to get a portfolio started and get moving. But look
Absolutely.
at trying to institute workshops in other facilities so we can just reach more people with the content. We're looking at more art galleries and broadening that exhibit, making mental health, mental wellness, and resilience through the creative arts more about us, less about me. I had a lot, I had very few of you to work with this time. So my work kind of overshadowed that exhibit. And what I would like to see in the future is multiple venues, multiple cities, multiple states, and we make that more us. So more people, more mediums, more. Um,
Yeah.
we want to look at corporate and business structure. We can actually provide performance, entertainment, and mental health awareness in a corporate structure. So rather than boring, lagged out meetings, we can actually pick that up and talk about it for real and openly. Maybe give some of those people the ability to talk a little bit more openly right in the space they're at, right? I mean, who
Yeah.
doesn't want that in their life? We've also talked about something that I got you floating on the back burner for. We want to try to throw together something where we travel, bro. Like
Okay.
we travel almost as an ensemble, musicians, poets, artists, but place to place. And if I have my way, even active duty place to place, because I think that's where we need to reach these guys is before they let go.
Yeah.
Get them to understand the reality of it rather than just a briefing about, hey, see ya, do this, bye, right?
Yeah.
Um, Hell, VAs, legions. But our goal is to merchandise with the t-shirts. As you mentioned, this one is the newest one, our message. We got the semicolon on there, right?
Yep.
And then on the back of this one, it says, with one step, a journey can start with just one voice that shares its heart. As we become legion and bear scars, together our message will outshine the stars. And that's exactly what our intent is. Like I was saying, build that community. When it's us, it's so much louder. It's so much prouder. There's no
Yeah.
way you can ignore us, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what this is all about, man. Like just getting that message out there. And how we're going to do that is with the little things. These t-shirts are now funding our ability to buy new shirts with new messages for everybody's a little different. Not everybody hears the same thing, right? We want to start incorporating this into little stickers, just a little pick me up that you can put wherever you want
Yeah.
to, right? But it's those little things that are going to drive us into being able to facilitate these workshops because, there's a startup cost. I got to
Yeah.
supply, if I want to do a paint endeavor. I need easels, canvases, paint.
Yep.
So once we get those things off the ground and a little bit of real income coming in, our goal is actually also to launch a nonprofit where we would then be able to push some of that for-profit money in and give workshops to the community for free.
Yeah. So it's a lot. It's like, we're not just hanging up the phone or ending a meeting, or telling everybody, have a nice day. We'll see you next week. We're saying, hey, we're going to cross state lines for you. You
Yeah,
know, we're going to
absolutely.
break down some barriers and we're going to make things happen.
Speaking of state lines, I just so I just got a response back from Karen Dunn, and it looks like I might work in Butler, PA now too.
Oh man, look at
Um,
that.
it's a matter of facilitating that connection that works for everybody.
Okay.
We're looking at lining up 4 dates at my discretion. The ball's in my court at the moment. But after the podcast that we had together the last time when me and Karen touched base again,
Yeah.
we connected via email after, and it looks like that relationship's gonna foster out something good, dude. So I might be reaching veterans over there with her now too.
That's awesome.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's one workshop now, right? But now that one workshop, it's in 2 locations. And that one workshop's going to be 2 workshops soon. And then that 2 workshops it's going to be like gremlins up in here, bro. We're going to throw water on everything and just watch them multiply.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, I can't wait till we have another episode with you, in the future and just kind of talk about how all these ideas and these thoughts have shaped up. Hey, do you have stupid poetry with you?
Oh man, I just so happen to have found
Oh,
that.
okay. So let's do this. I know we're running a little short on time now, and I know we've only just scratched the surface on the things that you do. I want to end this episode for all the listeners out there with just this amazing piece. It is a little cocky, right?
It is a
But
little cocky.
after we're done with this, man, I want you to give our kind of our kind of our call to action. What you would say to them. So go ahead and read this piece, and then you get the last message, brother. You tell them what you hope and what you want for them. So
All right, I'll do that. I love that you love this piece so much, man.
I
That's
do.
so much. Because I told you I struggled with this one because that cockiness for me, I don't want. I get out of control when I get cocky. I get mouthy. It's bad, man, and I don't want to be that guy. But you're not wrong in that I need to be confident in what I've become.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, one day, folks listening out there, man, it's a really long road. Then you start to feel better one day, and you start to have some hope, and
Yeah.
then you turn that into something, and you grow something, and then it's okay to enjoy that.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know how hard it was for me to go, man, I finally got better. And to accept that. Now I'm not perfect, but I got better. I got better. Why
Yeah.
was I so adamant about not accepting that? And that's kind of the same perception as this one right here. You know what? I'm really doing it. When am I going to get on board? Well, let's see. This piece is called Stupid Poetry. Someone I used to know once asked me, what do you think you'll ever accomplish writing your stupid poetry? And something about that stuck with me. Now, I know that it shouldn't matter to me. The truth is, this person has accomplished nothing in life of value, see? So why do I let it even bother me? But when your brain is just a little insane, there are so many things to be thought, and nowhere on earth can peace be bought when the what ifs become your addiction because you cannot control your affliction. So I let it marinate for real consideration. I mean, what is poetry to a devastated nation? We're all struggling so hard to put food on the table. What good is poetry when so many are unable? What do I think I'll accomplish with this stupid poetry? Well, it took me years, but I finally see. I got a woman to choose to stay just by sharing some poetry one day. Because the message inside the lines I write erased loneliness from her sight because my words resonated and made her feel less unique. and somehow made her world look less bleak. I got a guy out there driving all around, cranking my tunes and sharing the sounds because lyrics that began as poetry opened his eyes and allowed him to see a path to wellness he sought for years. So he listens on repeat while he's out shifting gears. I got our nation's finest sharing their fears through poetry with themselves and their peers. I'm reshaping the way we do this damn thing, and all for the simple joy it can bring, because if I can help just one of them get through, that's something far greater than me or you. I have pondered if that question regarded fortune or fame. But the thing is, I don't need people to remember my name. What I need is to hone my abilities and better serve my purpose. And now my stupid poetry helps me do exactly this. So when people point as they laugh and they shout and they ask me what my stupid poetry is about, I think to myself, you'll know in a few years when you see the world change through the haze of your fears. Because one day you'll finally feel the need to really talk. Some doctor will prescribe you poetry by Thomas Walk. See, like it makes me giggle every time too, like a little
Dude,
kid, bro.
I don't look at it as, I mean, it comes out cocky, but I mean, what I hear is confidence and I hear possibility. I'm going to tell you right now, I've loved this episode. For everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. Tommy, I want you to take us out tonight. Tell us what your hope is and what your words of encouragement are for those who are listening today.
Man, I hope that if you find yourself failing, you simply do not stop trying to overcome it. We all fall down, but we can all get back up. And the reality is, man, like our possibilities really are infinite. You really should take that home with you and let that marinate for a little bit. Because all the things you thought you couldn't accomplish up until this moment, you're still here. You did. Don't put yourself down so hard. Lift yourself back up. If you want to find me, mentalhealththroughart.com is the website. I'm a mess on social media, but you can see it there on Insta, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Thomas T.A. Walk, veteran poet. And we'll get everything squared away a little bit more coming into January. When I get done with this lab, man, the knowledge they've imparted on me, my business plan looks beautiful. I got a team building. January looks to be when we really kick off. So subscribe to mentalhealththroughart.com and get all the updates, man.
Tommy, thank you so much for coming in and letting us just kind of do a deeper dive. And I know like I said, we've always scratched the surface, man. All right, folks, that wraps up our episode for tonight. Want to tell everybody who's listening that we're going to take a couple weeks off. We really hope that you have a beautiful Thanksgiving holiday. Coming up in December, we got some more coming right back at you from the Roundtable. And we have December 3rd, Jack Blaze, who's a United States Army and Marine Corps vet, who's going to come on and share with us his music and his story. And then on the 10th, we have U.S. Army veteran Tim Megan Jr. going to join us and do exactly what we do here. We talk, we share, and we connect. So looking forward to having both them on the show. We will see you at the next episode of the Roundtable Where Heroes Talk. I am Matt Jones. Good night.
What's up, Hero Stock Nation?